All right. Okay, so I think we're good. What I needed to actually do is check my mic levels. How am I coming through? Are you... The joys of live streaming for two different things at once. I do a bit personally, do some recording and stuff for some other projects, and how are we doing? Are we coming through all right? We're here, sound great. Thank you. Okay. So, what I really should do is pop this out so I can figure out how to actually communicate a little bit better and have a chat with you guys as we're going along. There is no fear for its future. Thank you. That's a lovely sentiment. Midget strippers. Okay. That could be interesting. All right, then. Let's get this underway. So, I promised we'd talk about a bunch of different things. We might as well start off. I know there's a few people sort of tuning in now, but we'll get started, I suppose, because there's a lot that I want to go through, a lot that's been happening, a lot that's... There's just never enough hours in the day. So I've got open here on the screen basically something that we've put together and that we've actually submitted off to GDAX here, so you can see that. We submitted a little while ago, and although we haven't heard back from them, so I want to make that clear before I go any further, we have not actually had anything back from them. But I want to give you guys a little bit more of an insight, I suppose, into what it is that... I mean, you'll hear the likes of me and, you know, Jim, Glenn, Amar, Nigel, Derek, everybody saying that we're doing so much stuff, and... We are, but I understand that we don't tweet everything out and share everything that we're doing because sometimes we just don't actually hear back from places, or the leads and things that come across our path are not in the best long-term interest, I suppose. So if we have a look here at this document, this is something that Demir actually put together. The dude's amazing. And so we go through and we answer... We answer a lot of questions. There's 20 pages worth of it. Anyway, so this is really cool. This is, we went through question by question by question through their application framework, and we responded to all of it. And blow by blow, we responded to, we gave an answer for every single thing. It was really cool. That takes a lot of time to go through because obviously we don't want to rush it. Something like this is pretty important. So it's not just a matter of... Let's just throw out a couple of, copy and paste questions and away we go. It's very much tailored specifically for them, for their questions, answers as well for them. So this is one of the things that I wanted to give people a bit of an indication of what it is that we actually work on behind the scenes. So it's not just like, yay, we've applied for this. This is cool. I mean, yeah, it is. But in addition to this, it's really... Just to give you a bit more of an insight into why things take so long, what it is that we spend our time doing, especially seeing as I have a day job. I spend 40 to 50 hours a week on my normal day job outside of DigiByte, let alone the additional, sometimes an extra 40 to 50 hours on DigiByte as well. So, sorry, I just got a drink. It's, This is one of the things that I wanted to show you when we talk about exchanges. So let's quickly check the chat here on the Chromecast. Awesome, good stuff, Peter. So what else? There's some other exchanges and things that have contacted us, and it's really interesting the things that they ask for. We're seeing the money amounts go up and up and up, and it's hilarious because. So I looked back and I found a post on a crypto blog from back in 2014 about DigiByte and when it came out. And even back, so we were talking, this post was published 5 days after the launch date for DigiByte. 5 days afterwards, we were on Bittrex and we were on Poloniex, right? Like 5 days. There was no listing fees, no nothing. It was just new blockchain, cool. Out we go, we're listing you. So... It's really hilarious how times have changed, I suppose. And I have a feeling a lot of that's to do with the ICO rush of 2017. So I don't know if that's going to be like a long-term thing that we're going to see exchanges sticking around. And part of that is obviously because of the 51% attacks and things that we're seeing at the moment. Now, usually those are on sort of smaller hash power blockchains, like so Monocoin, Bitcoin Gold, even Verge had 2 attacks. They were more double spend rather than 51%. It's a fine line there, but technically speaking, they weren't 51% attacks. Even though the outcome itself was basically the same. So I don't know, like we're seeing so many exchanges popping up left, right, and center, and I don't know if that's going to continue very much through 2018 or even 2019 because of the risk that you have with those double spends. Basically, the exchanges are the targets because people will jump on an exchange, they'll double spend their, let's say Bitcoin Gold, for example, effectively duplicating it on the exchange, and then they'll sell it off for Bitcoin, and so by then they've well and truly made off, and it's basically the exchanges that are at risk there. So that's an interesting one. We get asked often if DigiShield will prevent that. Yes and no. DigiShield is a difficulty adjustment algorithm, and so basically DigiShield is what makes sure that every 15 seconds a new block is found, and its goal is to try and keep it as close to 15 seconds as possible. So DigiShield isn't a double spend attack prevention mechanism, but DigiShield, which is now multi-shield because we have 5 algorithms, combined with the 5 mining algorithms, offers us some additional security. Now, obviously, we have seen what's happened with the Verge and their double spends. That, I believe, in both instances is purely because of the way that the dark gravity well has been implemented for them. And I've actually been talking with the 2 co-founders of the Verge just over the last week, specifically about them implementing DigiShield, multi-shield specifically, and what that could mean for them. Would it prevent the attacks and things like that? Now, a lot of people will kind of remember back in at least I'd hope a lot of people will remember, back in 2014, Jared and the developers basically helped out Dogecoin to implement DigiShield, because DigiShield was a way to prevent the attacks that were hitting. They weren't so much attacks, a way to prevent the multiples from joining and leaving Dogecoin very quickly. And when the multiples would come in, they would mine Dogecoin while the difficulty is low. The difficulty would get bumped up. They would then up and leave, and because they leave with 90% of the hash power, you would find that the blockchain would freeze. That even happened once or twice to DigiByte, where it would freeze for quite a significant period of time back before we implemented DigiShield. So, yeah, basically we have been talking with the Verge guys, and although in the past we've helped out with Dogecoin, at the moment I know that our development team are just so busy with working on things for ourselves that they just, although it would be nice for us to be able to take off some time and help out another blockchain, anytime that we do that, I mean, people will say, yeah, that's great, look at the goodwill and things that brings you, but realistically, how many people ever talk about Dogecoin and DigiByte's DigiShield saving it? It just, nobody ever does. Nobody talks about it, which is kind of a bit of a shame. But yeah, sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So, but anyway, what I've done is I've had a chat with the 2 co-founders of it, of Verge, and basically shown them, look, this is where you can go for the multi-shield code, and kind of given them a really good point in the right direction. We've had some good back and forth. They're nice guys, and they're just trying to work what's best for Verge. But at the same time, we don't really have an obligation to go and help other blockchains. In fact, it kind of seems a little bit counterproductive. So yeah, anyway, we'll quickly catch up on the comments. Thanks for all you do for the community. No worries. Was hoping you would address this in the Twitter conversation with Twitter conversation with... yeah. So, Charlie's cool. Like, I know I bag on Litecoin a bit and things, but Charlie didn't get to where he was on accident. The dude knows his stuff. And so he made comment earlier on in the week about how it would only require XYZ million of dollars and the mining costs for mining DigiByte for an hour in order to perform a double spend attack. Now, we are in a much better position than basically... I mean, you look at the likes of, say, Bitcoin Gold, Monacoin, who have all actually had attacks on them recently. So we're in a much better position than that. Ironically enough, because of the fact that we have not yet done an algo swap, that's kind of the hilarious thing there, is so the way that the likes of Monacoin and Bitcoin Gold, and I think even Litecoin Cash, which apparently is a thing now, they've actually gone and suffered attacks in the last 2 weeks. Now, the way that people do that is they will basically just rent off mining power. I wonder if we can find some stuff. Give me a second here. Let's quickly see this. Bitcoin Gold are improving their security afterwards. That's, obviously good. Okay. Can I bring this over? I wonder how much of that is actually going to be on the screen here. Give me a second. Probably not enough. Let's bring that over. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So this was the 16th of May. So this was 2 weeks ago. But it's still obviously very much in the forefront of a lot of people's minds. Okay, how much did they make off with? 380,000 Bitcoin Gold. Damn, that's a lot. They're pushing it. Will eradicate the use of ASIC hardware. Right. So Bitcoin Gold is basically, they are an Equihash based blockchain. Now that's really funny because that was one of the ones that specifically that I myself was looking at. I know that Jared was pretty keen on it as well. We were looking at Equihash going. Equihash is cool where there's not going to be ASICs that are going to come along and be able to mine Equihash in a hurry. How wrong we were. That was only in like January, February we had a brief discussion about it and things. Actually, what have we got? ASIC. So Bitmain made. So anyway, I don't think what happened is a bunch of people got these ASICs and they set out specifically to attack Bitcoin Gold. From what I can gather, the way that this works is people have gone out and specifically rented, probably using NiceHash, because we've got that, what's that, Crypto 51? Yeah, Crypto 51. Let me bring this up. This is, just in case you haven't been following, this is what a lot of people have been going a bit crazy for lately. So the proof of work 51% attack cost. Now, the theory being what you can do is you can go off to NiceHash and rent some hash power. So we'll cover why this isn't so bad for DigiByte. So give me 1 second here. So, actually let's scroll down, we'll find, Bitcoin Gold's right here. So the theory is that's how much it would cost to attack it for 1 hour. Now, most of the time when you're renting hash power, you probably rent it for 24 hours, I believe. Like if we go and bring up NiceHash, let's have a look. Equihash. Algorithm? No, we want the marketplace. Okay. So this is if you wanted to basically go and rent some hash power for something like this. Obviously, there's a lot more involved than specifically just this, but hopefully this will give you a bit of an idea of what's involved to make this actually happen. So someone's going to come along and they're going to rent 20... Is that megasouls? And how much do we actually need? 32. Okay. So for somebody to come along and basically do a similar sort of attack, you would need, well, you've got 31 there and they only need 32. So it would involve basically somebody coming along and renting everything down this column here, all of that. So everybody's mining power, all of these. I mean, that's a lot. You'd have to go through and mine them all. I've never used NiceHash, so I don't know what these did ones are. I'm presuming the people that have gone offline, but you get the general gist of it, right? So someone comes along, they rent the mining power, they perform the double spend attack by putting it into the exchange. They wait for the exchange to validate and verify. So for Bittrex, for example, if you're doing a Zcash, and I think Bitcoin Gold as well, they use about 20 confirms. And then after that, the person will then go, they'll sell their Bitcoin Gold, and then they'll reintroduce their own larger chain, which has been mining on the side at a faster rate, and basically present it to the rest of the world and go, actually, you've all got the wrong one. We've still got the money over here in this account. And so everybody's wallets slowly sync up to this other one and go, oh, yeah, look, you're a longer chain. We'll go sync up with you. And, oh, yeah, this big spend of however many, what were we, 388,000 Bitcoin Gold didn't actually happen. But the exchange doesn't know that. The exchange basically is still, the person's already gone. They've sold their Bitcoin Gold, for example. So anyway, that's basically what this whole thing has been about. Now, the reason that DigiByte isn't affected is because of our 5 mining algorithms. So if I bring up, let's bring this up. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Alright, so give me 1 second. What we can do is, if we come over here and have a look, so I think it's under blockchain. Right, so this is why we are different, because we've got our 5 different mining algorithms, right? So we've got SHA-256, which is ASIC mined. Now this is obviously horribly out of date because there are now actually ASICs for every single one of these. But that's partly why DigiByte is still secure. So if you compare us versus Verge, I wonder what the Verge's mining algorithms are. I think they replaced it with YesScript. Verge mining algorithm. Let's have a quick look. Mine the coin. Verge. Where are we? Does anybody in the comments know what they use? I'm sure they've still got SHA-256 as well, and they've got Lyra 2 REV2. They've obviously got Escrypt. I don't remember what the others are. Myriad Grostal? Anyway. So, the reason that the DigiByte is more secure is basically because of our different algorithms. Now, the fact of the matter is there's not enough of certain ones of these algorithms to actually be rented in the first place. So, to attack it, you would have to go out and you'd have to buy it and things like that. I mean, nothing is absolutely impervious, but yeah, at the moment, the irony is that because we didn't swap to something like Equihash for our algo swap, we're actually safer as we are right now. So I know a lot of people are asking about when are we going to fork and when are we actually going to swap out a couple of them, be it, you know, like Skeen and Grostal, for example. If we are to do something like that, it needs to obviously be security is first and foremost for the blockchain. And second is going to be the decentralization and the distribution. But there's obviously no point in having a blockchain if you can't trust it to be secure. So the number one, first and foremost thing is going to be, it's got to be secure, really. So we will end up getting there probably to change them. I know Jared's been talking about the possibility of proof of stake, and I can see someone in here is actually just asking a bit about it. It's not going to go pure proof of stake. A hybrid approach, maybe, who knows? Then we potentially have issues with staking and securities and that sort of thing, but it's not about to happen in the next week or 2 weeks or anything like that. So it's not going to be rushed. Now, this is also something that it is worth the community giving their feedback on. Because there are a lot of algorithms out there and there's not enough hours in the day for us to know everything. If you have suggestions, I had a really good chat on Reddit with somebody about using the X16RS algorithm, some pros and cons around that. So yeah, that's a little bit of a summary there, I suppose, about those double spends, why we're not so vulnerable compared to others and things like that. And it is because of the 5 mining algorithms that have made things a lot better. There was some other things that I wanted to get into. Give me 1 second. Let's bring up the... Where are we here? Personal opinion on adding proof of stake. I'm not convinced. And I know Jared's talked about it though, but I know that he's not about to run out and do something just willy-nilly for the sake of it. Would it add additional security? Yeah, probably in some ways. We'd have to find the math on that and figure out if it would, how it's going to affect decentralization and things. But the number one focus is obviously the security. And so if it's going to help there, then sure, it's definitely worth looking into. We're not about to up and make any decision in a hurry, and it is definitely worth, as a community at large, chiming in. Tell us what you think. You know, why not? If you've got an algorithm that you like the looks of that is going to help with the security and or the distribution and decentralization, then fantastic. This is not a one-man band, and so what I say is definitely not gospel. So if you have something that you'd like to chime in with, then yeah, I think that's great. Let's quickly skim down here a little bit more. DigiShield is also secure, battle tested. Yeah, that's also, it's a difficulty adjustment algorithm. It's not going to prevent these attacks. Keep that in mind. Secret A6 people over this, la 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 la. Anyway, so what else was some stuff I want to talk about? Wallets. Yeah, so we've had some interesting wallets come and approach us. That's one of the other things that I've been working on, is integration, not just with the DigiByte, like the first-party wallets that we are doing ourselves, but also third-party wallets. So we've had the Garda wallets. They're also about to do a web wallet. We've had somebody else approach us about a web wallet that they run for a lot of other blockchains and things like that, predominantly proof-of-stake blockchains, but they've said they've got a few proof-of-works. And so they're looking to also come in and start helping out, I suppose, and integrating. Where are we at with our current ones? Somebody actually put a link in the Telegram chat. Give me a second. I wonder if I can find that link. Was that in the... Maybe it was in the developer channel. I have way too many channels in here. No, I can't find it in a rush. Anyway, long story short, Apple have gone and changed some of their criteria. And from the looks of these changes, it looks like it's going to be better. Let me try and find it. Apple. This looks interesting. Let's bring this up. Oh, this might have even been the same one. Apple's App Store revises cryptocurrency app rules. So they talk about what's different and things. These changes are basically going to make it, hopefully, easier for us to get the last of the iOS wallets sorted, get it into the App Store, get it out into the hands of everybody, and so we're really excited about that. The redesign for the UI is coming along quite nicely. I should actually bring up, check this guy out. Where are we here? Give me just a moment. This gentleman. If I bring this up. This is one of the guys who's been helping us out as well, and by helping us out, I mean he's actually done a boatload of the work. And so here's a little video that he's made that kind of just previews it. Now this is running on iOS specifically, and it looks great. It looks gorgeous, really. So we're hoping that a combination of this, a few other bits and pieces, and we should be seeing a release pretty soon as well. The Android one, have we got another one somewhere? Where are we? We've got, well, so I think we're on RC number 8. I think we're on RC8 for the Android wallets. So again, the Android wallet is so close at the moment. I think we're just going to sort out some translations, and then that's pretty much ready to go. So I know it's been a long time coming. There has been so many man hours that have gone into it. It is insane, but it's looking really good. So let's have a quick look. BTCZ is looking Z hash. Really? Okay. Master adoption will make it easier to convert fiat. Yeah, so that's one of the things as well that we've actually been... Oh, I've got that up here too. So Bittrex have approached us and basically said that they're potentially looking in terms of fiat peering and things like that, but they want us to tidy a few bits and pieces up. So I mentioned that Bittrex have added us back in 2014. They just simply added DigiByte. There was no big hoorah. There was no $100,000 paid. No nothing like that. I think I've got this up here. Yeah, so this is their token listing application form and stuff. There's a bunch of things there. Just to give you a bit of an indication. Yeah, it's they mention here specifically though fees and other things. So we don't know if we will be given fiat peering through Bittrex, but this is one of the many things that me and a bunch of other guys are all working on very actively. So this is their semi-public agreement sort of thing. It's nothing too exciting, but the problem is they also expect this. It says here company, right? Like there's no company behind this, and they talk about fees being due and the likes of that. It's not quite ideal. We'll figure something out though. We'll see what we can do about it. Give me 1 second here. Let's go. Okay, but yeah, I heard Shard actually just enter a vote. First I've heard of that. Thank you for being on call to come into a debate. Yeah, that's it's funny. I get that on Twitter, and I had this one guy, and I remember over the course of like 2 days, 3 days, he would basically just tag me and stuff and expect me to come and like weigh in and kind of like win some sort of an argument. In fact, I think he even tried picking an argument with Charlie Lee. And the irony was, what Charlie was saying to this guy was completely accurate and applicable and relevant. And this guy was just like, no, you're, nothing but DigiByte. And it's not like that at all. So after the third time this guy tagged me, I was just like, are you freaking kidding? Like, I'm not here to win your wars on Twitter for you. This is not what we're about. Like, yeah. So I'm all for people tagging me and like cool stuff on there. I'm not. I had this one guy, and he honestly, I'm not even kidding. He tagged me with, I think there was about a dozen other people, and he did it like 3 or 4 different times with like a bunch of other people, and I'm just like, why do you keep tagging me? He's like, oh, I'm helping you network. I'm like, that's not how this works, dude. You've literally just tagged me in a tweet that has names. Like, I really don't give a shit. He's like, oh, I thought I was helping. I could be busy filling out these application forms and stuff instead of doing that sort of thing. So, it's not quite not quite helpful, but I appreciate it anyway. So it may have been you that was tagging you in the fights. Maybe. That's the funny thing is there was like a couple people last week that were like trying to tag me and get into fight battles for them. What I would rather and what I would prefer going forward is that the community at large were educated enough about DigiByte to know why it's great. Not just like Ripple's the best and we've got bank partnerships, right? Like, because that has no substance to it. And the irony of people trying to tell me that Ripple is one day going to be the currency that the whole world uses, that's retarded because there's only 100 million coins. And you've got to have 20 in your wallet at all times. So if even just 5 billion wallets are ever created, which isn't even, that's like just over half of the entire world's population, you can't send and receive jack shit, right? Like, it's not going to work. That's not what Ripple's about. So what I want to see, though, is I want to see people that are engaged with DigiByte, that understand how DigiShield works, the multi-algorithms, why they work, why it's important to have the ASICs, why it's important to have the GPU mining and things. And yeah, I'll sign an NDA, give me a DigiByte.io email address. The irony is I don't even want my DigiByte.io email address, but I kind of need it when I am dealing with these things because it actually helps out a lot with credibility. I got by just fine for the last several years only using my own personal email address, right? Like, I don't know why people seem to think it's the most amazing thing ever to have a @DigiByte, address. Make your own freaking domain name. We don't care, right? Like, so if you want to do like DigiByteNDA.com, go buy it. Do it. Go buy it. We're not gonna stop you. So, yeah. Where was I? Back to the things that we wanted to talk about, because there was some other. Oh yes. Speaking of people tagging me in things, all right, so this is really cool. People tag me and they're like, by the way, this is going to be semi-anonymous, but people were tagging me in something going, you need to partner with this other blockchain. The first one was the Verge, and that was cool. So I had a good chat with the guys there, and there's no hard feelings or anything, and I completely understand what they're trying to do. We just can't help them. We don't have the development resources to give them integration assistance for multi-shield, DigiShield. So that's cool. Like, they're doing their thing, and I've pointed them in the right direction of the code, and so they're most welcome to actually do it. Now, there was another partnership that I got tagged in a lot over the last week, 2 weeks, and everybody's going, you need to contact these guys. This would be amazing. This would be huge. So I did. Everything is big, huge news when people are talking about cryptocurrency and partnerships and stuff right there. But this poor blockchain, you can't make this stuff up, right? So this poor blockchain now, they had one developer. That one developer's gone off and he's got other personal things he's now attending to, so he's no longer working for them. So this blockchain now has no developer. And they want to effectively poach DigiByte's developers and get them to work on their own token and blockchain for... They said they were like, it's only going to take, like a week or two. But I looked at what they were wanting to do, and it's probably a good 6 to 12 months of development time, probably for 1 to 3 people, depending on how bad it is. Like, it's a lot of development hours to do what they want. And so they wanted to come along, and they were like, yeah, we'll just borrow some of your developers. I genuinely didn't even bother taking it. Excuse me. I genuinely didn't even bother taking it to our developers because they would laugh at me. And I would like to think I have at least a little bit more credibility than that. But yeah, so oftentimes when people are coming with, we want this partnership and things like that, it's not so much always beneficial. Like you saw with that ICO that just wanted to use DigiByte for shilling their ATMs and things pre-ICO sale. Like, that was why they wanted us to partner with them, and was basically just to advertise them. So there was effectively nothing in it for us because they didn't have any ATMs out in the real world. Now, on the other hand, Nigel and Noah helped to get us onto the DigiByte's ATMs. Actually, can we bring up their website real quick? Because this is real cool. So General, if I can spell it right. DigiByte, changelog. So this is something, like, this is why we don't always tell you about things up front, because they submitted this, and I don't think we actually heard back for about a month or anything, but in the end it came through. And so if we have a look in here, we go yeah, so last month, middle of the month, they've added DigiByte support. And so this is now on all of the DigiByte's ATMs. I think they've got around about 2,000 of them around the globe and stuff. Can we bring up their products maybe? Yeah, they're cool. So again, although I'm hesitant again to show you specifically this with our GDAX application, it's just a bit of an insight into what goes on there. Not so much we are definitely being listed, but I want to give you a bit more of a behind the scenes maybe look. So, like, in all honesty, they might not ever list us. That's totally cool. It's up to them. I mean, it would be nice if they did, don't get me wrong, but this is something that actually happened. And so we announced it on Twitter, and we tweeted about it and stuff. There was a great big, everybody was all excited in the Telegram channels and things. And this is somewhere where you can actually go and buy DigiByte with your, fiat all around the world. Have they got, they've got a map, I think. Fast ROI. Ah, here we go. Yeah, so they've got a bunch of them, like, all over the show. It's freaking cool. So not all partnerships are all they're cracked up to be. And so when you see people on Twitter going, we're going to have this partnership, I'm always skeptical, to be completely honest. So, yeah. Can someone make DigiByte Android wallpaper? Yeah, have a look. Actually, I can give you a link for the wallpapers. Check them out. They're really cool. What was the response for the white paper section of the GDAX application? I don't remember. We can have a look a bit later on. Clear the Binance rumor that started today. Yeah, somebody jumped in Telegram. Apparently, it was, what's his name? Antivirus, McAfee. Apparently, McAfee jumped in Telegram and said, we're going to be listed on Binance. Cool. If they want to list us, I've submitted the document myself twice, personally. And I know that other people representing DigiByte have also done it twice. So it's not exactly a really quick. Actually, I tell you what. Have I got? Give me 1 second. I wonder if I've got these pictures here. Binance. Give me a second. Yeah, I do. Hang on a moment. Which way am I going? 1, 2. I think this is the right way. Yeah. Okay. So. This is the application and stuff, and so I went through and I filled it out, and we've got a whole bunch of shit all on it. Like, they've got it's not like it's, you know, we've got to actually fill in a bunch of stuff. It probably takes quite a while to go through and do all of this. Yeah, it just keeps going and going and going. Anyway, so I did that. The last time was back in February. Look, so if they've got more than enough information on us if they want to list us. If they don't, that's their choice. It's their call. We can't force them. Yeah. DigiByte checks all the boxes for Coinbase acceptance criteria. What are the chances? I don't know. They've apparently started taking ICOs now before us, which kind of seems a bit odd, but whatever. Yeah, we took all the boxes, basically. We're not a security either, from what I understand of the American law. They got us to fill out, there was this spreadsheet, and that you've got to go and fill in, like, certain things have certain point values, and it comes up basically saying you are a security, you're probably a security, you're probably not a security, or you're not a security. And based on their criteria, it said, no, you're not a security in the slightest, don't worry about it. But, I mean, obviously I'm not a lawyer, and to be honest, I don't even know how that really affects Americans in the slightest. So this is, hang on, where are we here? This is the map, right? This is most people up in America, and then we've got, you know, Europe and the likes. This is me down here in the middle of nowhere, right? Like, I'm literally in the middle of nowhere down here. So, you'll have to forgive me if I don't understand how your legal system works or the implications of it. It's, yeah. The Bittrex USD pairing conversion, what are the fees? I don't know what the fees are. The fees are, to be honest, they're probably not actually going to be any fees. It's really odd. We've talked to some people from Bittrex, and they're very, like, sort of standoffish. We've talked to some other people, and they're super helpful. Like, really, really cool people, really helpful. So it's kind of, we've actually gone back to them and asked them about fees and things like that. That's probably a good question, right? So, like, let's say everybody who's watching this now obviously knows, so we're not an ICO. We don't have a big war chest of money. In fact, I'll tell you what I can do. I can bring up, right, like, where's this wallet? Here's the DigiByte Go wallet that I'm holding some of the funds in, right? So we've got a little bit left in marketing. The higher dev fund is basically all about to be spent and finished up on the wallets and the Digi ID integration and things like that. Thank you, Yoshi, Noah. So that's all about to disappear. Look, you can see I'm super rich as well. Yay! And if we have to pay any fees, I can't pay for it myself. We've got a marketing fund, which, you know, we could potentially argue maybe that would be good marketing, maybe not, I don't know. But so let's ask a hypothetical situation here, right? Like, so let's say we find a big partnership, because I know that we're talking with people, right? Let's say we actually genuinely find a good partnership, maybe similar to what the Verge have done, right? Like, so they raised, what did they raise? $9 million or something? Let's say we go and we raise a whole bunch of money. Is that something that the community would be interested in contributing to for a larger paid partnership in that respect? Predominantly for advertising. Is that... I'm putting this out here, I suppose, just asking hypothetically, if we came to you and we said, right, we've got to raise ourselves $1 million, $2 million to get maybe like a year's worth of advertising doing this, or 2 years doing this, or something along those lines. Obviously, it's not going to be just like some shitty little Facebook ads, but ask around in the marketing channels, ask on Reddit, ask on Twitter, you know, gauge a little bit of interest and see what people would feel like. Because I guess the thing is I know that, like, let's bring up CoinMarketCap, right? Let's have a look at us. Where are we here? Okay, so we're battling for 48th place here with Bitcoin Private. Look at us go. Right, so I'm very well aware that that's $377 million is our total cap, right? And so for us to then subsequently, let's say we found a marketing partner or something similar, similar to maybe what Verge did, right? With, they did, who was it, MindGeek. Let's say we found something similar. Do we think that we as a community could basically raise up 1% of the funds and put it somewhere to donate to this kind of an initiative? Like, because that's a lot of money. But at the same time, I mean, it accomplished a lot for Verge. It got them out there. It got people talking about them. So this isn't something that I specifically have the answer to or want to have the answer to. I'm more kind of stirring the pot in terms of just asking the question, I suppose. I want some feedback. Josh, you are a fraud. Who's Josh? Let's have a look. If you have a paid partner, it's not a partnership. Yeah, so that's actually an interesting one, because on the one hand, yes, on the other hand, no. Now, if you're paying and you are getting marketing out of that, then that's great. What does the other party get out of it in return? So, for example, if you're looking at MindGeek and The Verge, right, so they paid them a buttload of money. How I would imagine this goes down, right, is so The Verge raises their money, they pay it to MindGeek. MindGeek advertise for them, but at the same time, I would imagine that MindGeek don't specifically have the expertise in order to integrate a cryptocurrency with their backend platform. So what they would likely then do is come along and pay, this is speculation, of course. I'm presuming that they would have done some kind of a payment to the Verge developers to have them assist with integration. And MindGeek would probably also use the money that they were then given from The Verge to subsequently go back and pay for additional advertising, like for that. They had a video that they made up and stuff like that. And so this is pure speculation on my behalf here, but that's probably how it went down. So that's probably why the exchange of money happened in the first place, because obviously MindGeek has a massive user base. Yeah, so that's kind of why. Like what would happen? Like maybe we do something and we get in front of, like, you know, let's say 100 million people, right? Like, is that worth collectively fundraising for us to do something like that? I don't know. I'm putting it out there. So, let's have a look. The Binance listing would be a worthwhile pay to play. No, and I can show you why, because I have a Medium post that covers why. Give me one moment. It's almost like we have people that presume that all the time, and I got bored of answering that. Right, so we need to be on Binance for liquidity. Bytecoin got listed today. So this was back at the start of May, right? Let's have a look at this. This is what happened to them. They went up, and then they plummeted down. They went back up again, carried on, and then they went back down. So that's basically what happened. So if somebody wants to be listed on Binance, show them that. That's what happens most of the time. Like, most of the time. So we're not here for our pump and dump. That's why we're not actually too concerned if we get listed on there or not. Because the people that want DigiByte, I think we're now on over 5 dozen exchanges, closing in on 6 dozen exchanges. Like, that's a lot of places you can buy DigiByte, right? Like, that's a lot of places. Yeah, Tron last year, right? Like, okay, so look, this is Tron. They're going along, and they have their brief, like, not even half, like, that's October to November. This tiny little, you know, blip. And then it just keeps going down, 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 right? Like, that's stupid. So, anyway, you can show them that. So there's, if anybody tries to tell you we need to be listed on Binance, yeah, I'm not interested. Aren't you glad DigiByte is an ICO token? Well, to be honest, I'm actually a little bit jealous that Tron had $18 million worth of worth, because think how much we could do with that. We could do a lot. So Yeah. You are skipping some key comments. What are they? I haven't skipped everything. Hang on a minute. DigiByte would be perfect for Coinbase. We've looked at that. SEC Cheers says most coins are not securities. DigiByte's a safe project. That's cool. Did they ask for specific things from DigiByte Foundation? Who? Ah, Bittrex. No, I don't think so. I don't remember. I haven't been over the document fully. Like, that's the thing, is they've sent it through to us and I've skimmed the whole thing, but I haven't had a chance to actually go through and read that. They've also got another NDA that they want us to sign, which we haven't signed yet, so I guess everything that they've given me so far I can talk about, right? Like, anyway. What else do we... You don't need to pay partners to be... It's a two-way street. Yeah, so we sort of talked a little bit about that. Yeah, it should be a two-way street, but what is it that we can offer as part of the partnership? Simply being a payment method isn't enough. Like, that's the thing. If somebody wants to take Visa as a payment method, they can, but they go and they'll buy an FPOS or a credit card machine. They don't actually have anything to do with Visa. It was interesting. I was talking with somebody on Twitter before, and they tried telling me that DigiByte was payments and nothing else. And I thought that was really quite hilarious, because I know for a fact that we have document notarization through DigiSign and things like that. I know that we actually have a company here in New Zealand even that's working with DigiByte and storing data on the blockchain. I mentioned this previously. I didn't even find out about it until my mate told me. He's like, yeah, we've been working on integrating DigiByte for a while now and stuff with our product. And I'm like, but we didn't know about it. And I think that's actually really cool, because we don't have to know about it. People can use DigiByte for whatever they want. And payments is just a very small part of that. And so I like to think that we're actually going to see a lot more focus on security, especially with likes of Digi ID and things like that. So let's quickly keep catching up with the comments here, because there's a few coming in. Proud of DigiByte, how it came to where it was today. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, me too. In my opinion, we, the community, will be top 10. Top 10 the community or top 10 the coin? Yeah, let's have a look. We're in Huobi? I can't pronounce that. Who's now paying the server like Digi Explorer? We're actually looking at moving some of them into different hosting environments and things. We're being stung a lot with the bandwidth. It's not so bad because we've been in a bit of a bear market overall for cryptocurrency, and so a lot of that hype that we had in December has sort of died down a little bit. We've got a lot more of a kind of a steady flow at the moment, but we're looking to migrate some of the servers along to other servers that aren't going to cost us an arm and a leg, but are going to be easier to maintain. So we want to do kind of twofold at the same time. Can you elaborate on if Digi ID uses or doesn't need to use the blockchain? No, it doesn't. So basically, Digi ID's a really nice front end for public-private key authentication. It doesn't actually save anything at all to the blockchain, but it uses the same methods for authentication as the blockchain does to validate that you want to send your DigiByte away. Technically speaking as well, you can send a DigiByte to your addresses that you have in the DigiByte wallet that you use for like authentication, like, so let's say websites, but if you do that, it's currently not pulled into your wallet, so don't do it. I'm basically saying on the mobile wallets, because of the way that everything works technically, because we have to hash in the additional URL and things like that, don't actually go sending DigiByte to it, even though you could in theory. How is it more secure than two-factor authentication? It depends on your two-factor authentication. I tell you what, let's actually have a quick look at something here, because let's see. If memory serves me right, dun 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 dun. I remember this back in 2011. This was huge. Secure ID is compromised. This is two-factor authentication. So all of those RSA tokens, actually, can I show you what RSA token? Can I show you what they look like? Give me a second. Yeah, I can. Here we go. One of these suckers. I'm sure everybody's seen these, right? These little things. Aren't they adorable? You see them everywhere. Because people leave them lying around. It's really dumb. I actually started working on a Medium post, and I talk about specifically why Digi ID is more secure. So if you look at email, for example, if I'm going to go and try and hack into your email, once you're in on email, you then, hang on. Let me bring this up. Let me bring this up. because I wrote a bit about it. It's still in draft though, that's my problem. I haven't actually finished publishing this because I've had so much on at the moment. Stories. Yeah, it didn't help I was off sick for a little while. And alright, 2,200 words so far. That's not too bad for me. So this is definitely in draft. What is Digi ID? What's the goal of all this? To talk about it. Problem with passwords, they suck. One-time email passwords is password reuse. I go into a little bit more. What else have we got? SMS two-factor authentication, trusting your telco. Again, we've seen obviously this is how we ran into problems with Jared. Not because he'd done anything wrong, but because it says here, you're at the mercy of the store clerk. You give out your SIM card. You can port numbers and things like that. It's bad. So I go into a little bit more. I talk about the purpose of it, why things are bad, why the existing stuff doesn't work. I'll publish it eventually. I'll get around to it. I promise I will. Yeah, I'll get there. Any more discussion with Gemini or the Winklevoss twins? I don't remember. I know that we applied there. I don't know if anything further happened. Can there be more DigiByte public keys than IPv6 addresses? I don't actually know. What's the limit on IPv6 addresses? Address space. What's the word? Address limit? The length of an IPv6 address is 128 bits. Shit, I don't actually know. What's the limit for... Let's have a quick look at Bitcoin limits. Because there'll be a lot of articles on that you'd like to think. I'm not entirely too sure, but that's a really cool question. I feel like there's more than IPv6. I'm pretty sure there's more. Like a lot more. I'll tell you what, there's a video that I'll link it. Give me 1 second, because this video is really cool. Where did I put it? So there's this video by this guy, and he talks about the amazing math behind Bitcoin. Now, because the math that DigiByte uses for address generation, public-private key, things like that, it works basically identically. Here we go. I will...
Hello, this is James D'Angelo, and welcome to the Bitcoin One.
I won't go through this all, but we can kind of skim ahead, and he talks a little bit about... Yeah, here we go. That's a lot of possible addresses. Hang on, give me 1 second. We'll check this in the comments here for you to watch later on, because this is really cool. I would highly recommend you watch it. I've probably watched it maybe 7 or 8 times myself, from start to finish. The dude is incredible at how he explains it. It's really, really good. It is an Eli 5 kind of explanation about the addresses and things like that. So check him out. Check that video out. It's really cool. Digi ID is the same as two-factor with an additional step. Not quite. It's better because you control everything. So with email, with SMS, you rely on an external third party, no matter what. With Digi ID, it is 100% your own. You don't rely on anybody else. If you don't give out your private keys, then the two-factor authentication securely and confidently, pseudo-anonymously proves that you are you without you actually having to rely on anybody else at all. So that's a pretty big one. We don't actually keep any address details or anything in the wallet that would potentially it cause problems, I think, like with GDPR. We don't keep your name, so we're not like Civic where you can give out just your name and things like that. But there are also ways around yeah, that kind of like identification, but it is pseudo-anonymous. It's cool. It is very different from SMS and email, and a lot more secure. I should just stop that. I'll show you. He goes on and he talks about your treasure chest and stuff like that, finding the money, how long it would take. He talks about some numbers. Yeah, really, really, really big numbers. Anyway. Give me just a moment, because key generation is that a single key being reused. No, it's the hierarchical deterministic keys. So we generate a new one for each website. So if I go to one website and then I go to a different website and I still scan my same wallet, you get a different for both, because the way that it works is you hash in the URL. So if we go, ID.ir. Give me a second here. We have some guides. We talk a little bit about it. Documentation. It's under the integration guide. I feel like I could probably have named those a little bit better, but anyway, so we talk a little bit about it, what it would look like, why it's unique. We've got some sample code and things, and it basically talks a little bit about it there. So if you are curious, there is some more in there. Digi ID is not yet usable for iOS. It will be this week probably, because we're just looking at merging some code and things like that. I know that the team have been doing it even today, so this coming week I wouldn't be surprised if we see an update. Again, now because I've actually gone and given like a deadline, it's probably not actually going to happen until like Monday the week following or something stupid, just because the universe will spite me that way. Just it's coming, it really is, so it'll be there very soon. Anyway, there was one or two other things I wanted to quickly talk about. The wallets, the exchanges. Actually, I think we've gone through most of that. Yeah, so the partnerships, that's actually going to be a good one. If we did need to raise some money, what do you think? Do you think we could raise $1 million? I don't know. I don't know. Put it out there. Ask around on Twitter, Telegram, Reddit, whatever you want. How many businesses did you sign? I don't know, a lot. It's an independent company. They don't have to report back to us. I know a lot, and I know a lot of them are sort of Fortune 500 companies as well. Jared talks a little bit about that. If we go to the, where are we? Blockchain. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So if you do a search for Jared takes us blockchain, this first one here, is where he talks a little bit about the Belt and Road, the supply chain. He talks a little bit about DigiSign. Check it out. It's really cool. It's a good video. Yeah. I think we should probably wrap this up, though. We've been going for 55 minutes. It's not a bad little kind of a catch-up. Speaking of Jared, he and I are trying to find a time that he's available, that I'm available. Obviously, I'm in a different time zone and things, and it can make things really interesting. So weekends are basically best for me because I do have a day job that I need to pay the rent. Hopefully this has been educational, though. I know a while back I did a tweet and I asked if people were interested in me doing these once a week, once a fortnight, as and when news pops up, stuff like that. Once a fortnight seems pretty good because it gives me a chance to, I mean, these things obviously take a while. They take a bit of prep work. I have to wear a collared shirt even though it's not ironed. Look at me. We need to get Jared and Josiah on a podcast. Yeah, so we're trying to find a time that works for both he and I. I was talking with him earlier on in the week, and we're going to shoot for next weekend, but it's not a guarantee just yet, but we're trying to make it work. We want to do it because, obviously, I mean, it's kind of bad because on the one sense, he and I see eye to eye on pretty much everything, so there'd probably be just a little bit of circle jerking going on there with the two of us just going, yeah, I agree, that's great. But at the same time, I feel like the two of us, like, we could actually have a really cool discussion on some of the more technical matters that we don't often get people talking about in those interviews. So, for example, he talked a little bit about in this interview here with Dr. Simon, but a lot of what he talked about didn't specifically go in terms of, like, in-depth, like, nitty-gritty detail. So I feel like if he and I got on a good interview, we could go into some of the more in-depth stuff, even though I'm not a developer, coder, whatever. But yeah, it could be a lot of fun. So, yeah. How's West Auckland going? Nice fine day today. Yeah, it actually is for a change. It's been pouring with rain. Told Jared to stop attacking other companies. You know, Verizon kind of deserved it. They fucked him over. Let's be honest here. But at the same time, so that's one of the things is I definitely gave a few other blockchains probably a bit more grief than they deserved. They kind of deserved it. I probably gave them a bit more than they should have, but you know, no one's perfect. We'll take the feedback on board. I'm not exactly going to listen to absolutely everything everybody says. It's really funny. This guy jumps on Reddit and he's like, you need to go do this. And I'm like, what? Why do I need to do that? Like, you're not the boss of me. Like, I do what I want. I'm here donating my own time and things like that. And even so, like, who the hell are you, right? You got to wonder about some people. They seem to get on this real big ego trip. It's super weird. People are funny. People are funny. But yeah, so we'll try and tee up a time with he and I so that we can do a bit of a live stream. If you haven't checked out recently, I've also done the Crypto Pulse podcast. That one was really cool. We had a great laugh. That one was hilarious. Audio only, so you can chuck it on when you're in the car and just listen to it through Bluetooth, whatever, on your speakers and things. Or even, play it at night. I'm sure my ranting and my droning on would allow you to go to sleep really good. So, yeah, we'll try and we'll do another one. If Jared and I do something next week, hopefully then we'll keep everybody posted. Sorry, I'm sure you can hear the birds in the background there. I have 2 lovely little Indian ringnecks that can be a handful sometimes, and I actually share this room with them as well, and I have to take them out into the living room when I when I do these. So that's part of the prep work. Yeah, anyway, so thank you for all you do for the community. Yeah, it's my pleasure. I mean, I'm not perfect, that's the thing. I am going to make mistakes. I'd like to think that I'm man enough to apologize for them, like we saw when I tweeted at Charlie earlier, and I apologized. I said, look, I made a mistake with one of the things I mentioned in a Medium article. And Charlie's a cool dude. He was understanding as well. We fixed that up. He's a good guy. Even if he and I don't see eye to eye on everything, especially Lightning, but yeah, whatever. So anyway, this has been fun, guys. Look, ask around and put the feelers out if we were to do some additional fundraising. I know that we've done really well with the higher div fund. We did the Venezuela stuff. We've paid for the Digi ID videos. So I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious. So hopefully this has been a cool, a little bit more like behind the scenes as well. Get to see some of what it is that we've been doing, what we've been working on. Thanks for the insight. Yeah, no worries. That was kind of the goal, I suppose. And yeah, stay safe. Hold your DigiByte. Or spend it, whatever. Alright, guys. Thanks very much. This has been a blast. Have a good one. Take care, guys.